guys, my name is Felicity and welcome to Congo Talks 243. If this is your first time, I would really encourage you to subscribe first of all, just so you are notified every time that I post a new video. And for those of you family who have been here for a long time, welcome back. I'm so glad you're still here. So today I want to welcome you guys to our second episode of our Pre-Colonial Kingdoms series. If you're seeing this video for the first time, or if this is your first time to be on this channel, we had recently started a series talking about the different pre-colonial kingdoms that made up the DRC. The DRC is the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is where I come from. So if you are interested in learning that kind of stuff, so am I. And this is a very good learning journey for me as well, as much as it will be for you guys. So in today's episode, we are talking about the Kuba Kingdom. And as usual, before we start, I would like to let you guys listen to a sound that is very particular in describing the people that made up this kingdom of Kuba, or the Kuba Kingdom. And this tune was provided to me by a friend pretty recently, and I didn't think it would be so useful for me. I want you guys to listen to it because it's a very distinct sound that really describes the people from the northwestern part of the DRC.
Mama toka fwana kiweka kala mungu kiwe bono ni sisi toke la kimbula jola sambo tofwena na kimpasi ndote mama toke la kimbula jola sambo tofwena na kimpasi ndote mama tikanza kumbako batele nilongo lyuma akokaya bekoluke mama tina kanane tikanza kumbako batele nilongo lyuma akokaya bekoluke mama tina kanane mama pasile bisika byuma.
It's very beautiful. So the Kuba Kingdom started in the 1600s, the early 1600s, and it was located in the south central part of the DRC. There's something special about this kingdom, and what's special about it is the fact that it still exists today. Yeah, the Kuba Kingdom still exists today. The reason why it still exists today is because this kingdom was one of the least affected kingdoms in terms of the colonial influence. So things like the slave trades that affected the kingdom of Congo, for example, didn't really affect the kingdom of Kuba because of its location. It was a bit of an isolated kingdom, so it took the colonial powers some time before they reached it. In fact, it is said that they didn't actually reach this kingdom until the late 1800s. And the borders of this kingdom were marked by rivers. So they had the Kasai River to the west of the kingdom, they also had the Sankuru River to the north of the kingdom, and finally they had the Lulua River to the south. These rivers acted like points of references for the Bakuba, or the Kuba people, to know which villages were part of the Kuba Kingdom and which villages were not part of the kingdom. The kingdom expanded very naturally within those natural borders marked by rivers. The place where this kingdom was located was already settled by different waves of Bantu-speaking people. And according to archaeological findings, this goes back to as early as the 500 BC. But between the 13th and the 15th centuries, big waves of the Mongo-speaking people migrated to the place. So the Mongo people, or the Mongo-speaking people, are found in the northern part of the DRC, so the northwestern part of the DRC. So the kingdom was pretty much made of this group of people that had just migrated, as well as the ones that were already residing in there. So initially, all of these people were kind of organized in small-scale societies, and there was no type of like political hierarchy that organized all of them apart from the ones found in villages. And this went on until the 1600s. And what happened is that a foreign trader named Shyaam unified these individual villages into one politically centralized state, and it became known as the Kuba Kingdom. So King Shyaam was the first king of the Kuba Kingdom. So the Kuba government was organized towards a merit-based title system. Unlike other kingdoms where kingship is kind of inherited, the Kuba Kingdom's system was based on merit. And even though it was based on merit, a lot of power still resided with the ruling clan. And in this case, it was the Bushongo clan. In this kingdom, kings were referred to as nim. And basically the way that the kingdom was organized is that the leader of the government was the king, and he was responsible to a court of council that was made up of different subgroups of the Kuba Kingdom. And all of these subgroups were represented equally at the court. The economy of the Kuba Kingdom was based on agriculture, forestry, and also art. In fact, the Kuba Kingdom is best known internationally because of its art. You can find the Bakuba's art all around the world. It's everywhere. And actually, art has played such an important role in maintaining the history or the story of the Kuba Kingdom. For example, sometimes when the Kuba kings died, they would be commemorated by carved wooden portraits. And these portraits were called the ndop. And basically, these portraits were not actual images of the kings. They were more like spiritual representations of the king. So they displayed the personalities of the kings and what they brought to the kingdom during their reign. And each of these kings was also kind of represented by a small emblem at the bottom of the portrait. These are one of the ways that art has really played such an important role in kind of keeping the Kuba history alive. One thing to know about the Kuba Kingdom is the fact that it is actually described as one of the most sophisticated historical states. It's been compared to ancient Egypt, Imperial Japan, and it was a very influential state. And part of the reason for this is the fact that it had many of the institutions that can be found in the modern day centralized states. Like for example, it had a division of political authority. It also had a professional police force, its own taxation system, the provision of public goods, and it also had an unwritten constitution, for example, its own court of appeal. But as I always say, please feel free to do your own research. Actually, I recommend that you do your own research because there is so much to these kingdoms or to these topics that I talk about on this channel that I don't necessarily include in these videos. Okay, so I would really encourage you guys to please do your own research and find out what there is more to know. Okay, so that was all for today, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and also subscribe just so you are notified every time that I post a new video. Let me know in the comment what you think about the Kuba Kingdom. How much did you know before, and how much do you know now? Did this video provide any type of insight? Also, if you have been reading about the Kuba Kingdom already, let us know some of the tips that I might have missed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.